Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary or the SITREP or the situation report of the day of 807 for the 10th of May for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine. The Frontline Changes report has already published, so of course you can go and watch it. It comes also with the latest update. When I was doing the recording, the latest update then of the Kharkiv offensive by the Russia, and we have of course more information as per this SITREP. All the information here is the latest as per this recording, and there are still new frontline changes that I don't need to cover. There is frontline changes over at Novy in the Bakhmut Front, Ivanivske, as well as Novopokrovka. So this one, Novopokrovka is at the Zaporizhzhia Front. Ivanivske is actually at the Bakhmut Front. So we go into the frontline changes report first. Over at the frontline changes report, frontline change over at Novy. So there is a geolocation over at Novy at the Bakhmut Front. This is Bakhmut City. This is Novy, and this is Chasiv here. And there is, based on this geolocation of Russian forces over in the northeastern outskirts of Novy, which means that the Russian forces have incurred into this area here. It looks like a dacha region, where there's the summer houses region. So it means the Russian forces have entered in this area here. It could be that they are going to go towards this railway line and go towards, away from the buildings, away from the urban zones. But we shall see how this goes. And there's another frontline change is south of this location, also based on geolocation. And this geolocation is very close to the highway, which means that the Russian forces in this forest region here have attacked downwards, southward, towards the highway. So that is the frontline change over at this region here of Bakhmut Front. The next frontline change and the last frontline change is over at the Zaporizhzhia Front. So this is Zaporizhzhia. And at this area here in the Kharkiv sector, Russian forces are geolocated along the highway, and they are one tree line away from what we have known, which means that Russian forces have advanced along the highway towards the center of the Kharkiv sector. So that's all for this frontline changes. We go into the strategic and tactical reporting, and I will go with the Kharkiv offensive first, and then we will go from our usual counterclockwise direction. And so over at the situation at the Kharkiv front, the Russian forces have launched the Russian Kharkiv offensive, and this time around it looks like the real deal. The reason because the Russian Defense Ministry have basically chipped in and declared the capture of multiple towns. So according to the Russian Defense Ministry in their today's report, the latest report, they reported the capture of Borisovka, Ogosovo, Peretenivka, Prinaya, as well as Trilexia. Anyway, these are not the way how you pronounce in the Ukrainian spelling, but so basically the Russian Defense Ministry have acknowledged that they have launched the Kharkiv offensive. And this also is acknowledged by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry also have reported 9 different attacks across eight different locations in the Kharkiv front. And given the fact that both Defense Ministry have acknowledged that there's fighting around here, this is looking more and more like a proper offensive. But of course, will this last? It's hard to tell. Like I mentioned, if the offensive goes on for more than a week, then we are definitely looking at a real offensive. Another way to tell is that the Russians progress a lot of grounds, capturing Vostochny, going all the way south. Then that could also mean this is a very serious offensive, which means that it invalidated my analysis that the Russians would not launch the Kharkiv offensive. So tentatively it's looking like very, very invalidated because things are getting a bit serious, but of course this is still day one of this offensive, so we will definitely continue to monitor this thing. The Russian forces also have more vector of attack compared to the SITREP that I have reported yesterday. So there is a few major directions. There's one direction over this area here towards Avdiivka. Another direction, this is the main push. This main push is towards Lipsy, which is over here. This Lipsy. There's a push towards Neshkushny. There's another push in towards Voshchansk from the northwest, one from the north and one from the northeast. So this and the target is of course Voshchansk. So the Russians are pushing across the various front line and towards rather strategic locations. So we will talk more about this. Over at this Hotivka region here, according to Ryba, Russian forces have captured Hotivka. This settlement is not mentioned in the Russian Defense Ministry report. And according to Ryba, the Russian forces are currently battling Ukrainian forces at Kudivka, as well as in the outskirts of Hotivka. So this is totally unreported by the Ukrainian side or the Russian Defense Ministry. Only Ryba mentioned about this, so we'll definitely continue to monitor to see if this is valid. And over to this main front towards Lipsy. This is the main push. At this main push, Russian Defense Ministry have announced the capture of Strelica, Kresny, Pilia, Pilina, Pinis, and Borisivka. And Borisivka. So these are the three settlements around here that basically is corroborating the information from Ryba. So, yeah. So this is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. The Russian Defense Ministry, however, did not mention the capture of Krasny. The Krasny only mentioned by the Ryba, the pro-Russian source. So, and there is various geolocations showing Ukrainian forces FPV drone strike Russian equipments, and this one over at Olinikove is particularly bad because various armored vehicles is destroyed by the Ukrainian side. It confirmed. Yesterday we have marked this as black because I'm not sure what equipments, whose equipments are those. So we had the update from Deep State UA confirmed those are Russian. So the Russian forces, after the capture of all these locations, there is new information suggesting that the Russians are pushing towards Lukyantsy, Olinikove, Morokovets, as well as Klipoke, Klipoke. Oh my freaking god! All these new locations, I'm not used to it. Okay, Glipoke. So these are the new directions, and there is a geolocation of a M777 howitzer getting destroyed. This artillery clearly is a bit too near to the front line, so this artillery unit probably is caught by surprise by the Russian forces suddenly attacking in this direction. So we will continue to monitor to see whether the Russians will be able to capture more grounds over the next 24 hours. But this is the main push. This is the main push. The target is this important hub city of Lipsy. For Lipsy, there is this various roads that is heading out in various directions, which is why this is rather important to have. So the Russians are attacking Lukyantsy here, you can see here, and they will be pushing for Lipsy. And the other side, of course, maybe Russian forces at Hotivka may also travel down the highway and then head eastward towards Mali Prokodi. So, and to cut off the other direction, which means that there will be a pincer on Lipsy. And this is the current situation that is facing the Ukrainian forces in this area here. So, and there's another push is over at Nekoshny. So the Russian forces, according to Ryba, have captured Zeline, and they are now attacking towards Nekoshny. This is not reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. However, the attack at Nekoshny was reported as by the Russian Defense Ministry, but not by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Sorry, got it the other way around. So there is bombardments being reported at Vasily. So which means that there is already preparation for the Russian forces to continue to push towards Vasily in this area here. So this could also mark the Russian attempt to cut off potential reinforcement. With these two push on the flank, the main push coming down the center to capture Lipsy, and then they can potentially pincer from both sides. So there's a lot of things all happening together at one time, so it must be planned very carefully. But we shall see whether they can play out, because no plans past the first punch. So yeah, so things are going to be bad. Over the Voschansk region, Russian forces have also captured multiple locations. Ryba reported the capture of Okhiseve, and then also Hatikshaf and Platinivka. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they only captured Platinivka, and so this is the situation. So these three locations are captured according to the various sources, combining the information together. And the Russian forces, however, did confirm that they are now fighting near Voschansk, which means that to fight near Voschansk means that they have already penetrated either through the center or already through Hatishev, Gati Chef, freaking hell, Kati Chef. So this is basically the situation around here. There is a report from Ryba saying that there's a Russian push through their mapping towards Taike, and there is bombardments of a bridge just off Zibine. So this is the current situation, and I think that this is to cut out reinforcement, and then they also can attack through another flank, so to become another pincer. So this is the full Kharkiv offensive tentatively, from what we know. There is some geolocation of a Lancet hitting another howitzer, another artillery system just south of this where the bridge was hit. And of course, already mentioned about this, the M777. At Boschova, there's also another artillery getting hit by Lancet. So there's a lot of concentration of attacks by the Russian forces in this area here. According to the information from Deep State UA, the Russian forces have concentrated forces at Kharkiv and the Sumy region, which means that there is now a lot of anticipation of the Russian forces opening a new front over at the Sumy region. We are not sure whether this will happen. Tentatively, this is a lot of things happening over the Kharkiv Front, and then we shall continue to monitor and wait to see if this will develop further. But according to certain rumors, Ukrainian forces have already started to bring forces up from the Donetsk region towards Kharkiv. So the situation must be rather serious if that is true. So we move away from the Kharkiv Front over at the Kherson Front. At the Kherson Front, there is some fighting reported at the bridgeheads. It's not sure where it is, probably Krinky or maybe some other places. Russian Defense Ministry reported bombardment at Kozatske, Ivanivka, as well as this location is Novopokrovka. So this area here is where the Ukrainian forces conduct their crossing over the Krinky, which is why this is always a main target of shelling. And Kozatske is always a threat because the Ukrainians are always thinking about crossing over to Novopokrovka. So anyway, this is the area here. There is a geolocation of a guided missile attack from over at Mikhailske, just across the river at the Dnipro River, and there is also reports of shelling over at Kapulivka and Zolota Balka. So these are the two strikes. These are nearer to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and the major city of Nikopol. So that's all from the Kherson Front. We move into the Zaporizhzhia Front. Over the Zaporizhzhia Front, Russian forces are attacking in three different directions. They are attacking at Chevone, in the northwest of Verbove and Robotine. Ukrainian forces counterattack at Robotine. So over the Orikhiv sector, the Russian forces are probably clearing and opening up the front line around here, around Robotine, trying to capture the whole thing. Ukrainian forces are reportedly counterattacking. Russian forces are attacking in the Verbove region, and of course with the geolocation, we know that the Russian forces are pushing in the southwest of Novopokrovka. So this is the current strategic situation over at the Orikhiv sector. And over at this Huyapole sector, the Russian forces are attacking Chevone, probably just probing. I don't expect too much from this attack. And we move on. Over at the Donetsk Front. So at the Donetsk Front, the strategic picture looks like this. Russian forces attack at Storomayoske, at Uruzhaine, Voleda, towards Vodian, southwest of Novomihailivka, and Bobeda, Georgievka, and Krasnohorivka. So this is the current situation over at the Donetsk Front. Over the Velika Novosilka sector, Russian forces attack Storomayoske and Uruzhaine. Let me zoom in a bit more. So they are attacking this area here, and Uruzhaine. Russian forces geolocated to have landed forces south of Staromayoske, showing that they are attacking towards Staromayoske. Uruzhaine itself got airstrike again by the Russian Air Force. So that's all from this Velika Novosilka sector. Over at this Voleda, there is Russian Defense Ministry mentioned they attacked Ukrainian forces at Voleda. So we're not sure if this is an assault, probably a fire attack, nothing serious. So we shall see how this goes. Over at the Soloke and Novomihailivka region, Russian Defense Ministry, Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioned Solotke and southwest of Novomihailivka. So Russian forces are attacking in these directions towards Vodian. So we shall continue to monitor if the Russians have managed to make any progress in this area here. We move further up north. There's fighting reported at Georgievka as well as Bobeda. So these two areas, there's some reports. There's a geolocation of a Leopard 2 getting destroyed by Russian artillery. And so over at the Battle of Krasnohorivka, there's currently no updates regarding the battle itself. However, we have geolocations suggesting Russian presence that invalidates some of these Ukrainian claims. So, but that's about it over at Krasnohorivka. Moving into the Avdiivka Front. So the Avdiivka Front has now lost love. Everybody is now only caring about Kharkiv Front, and this front line has lost its shine. Over the southern half of, so I think I can do a overall picture first. The overall picture looks like this. Russian forces attack at Pervomaiske and Netelove. Ukrainian forces counterattack there. Russian forces attack Umanske. Ukrainians attack Semenivka, Bedaichi, Novopokrovka, and Solovyove. Russians attack Sokil. They're attacking Ocheretine, clashing with the Ukrainians. Russia attacked Novo-Oleksandrivka. They're attacking at Arkhangelsk and also attacking towards Kalinove. And on the New-York Front side, there is a attack towards Oleksandropil. So this is the strategic situation over at this Avdiivka Front. So we go into details in the southern half, southern part of the Avdiivka Front. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces showing that there is still Ukrainian presence over at this area, which means that they are unwilling to leave. So the Russians are still attacking them over at Pervomaiske. So this salient is not falling anytime soon. And Netelove itself, Russian forces geolocated, confirming the expansion of the control in the Netelove region. Ukrainian forces are counterattacking them. Russian forces are currently trying to push out. So we shall continue to monitor. Half of Netelove is now under Russian control. Moving to Umanske, there is fighting reported over here. I think I forgot to change the front line. Give me a minute. Okay, so I updated. I forgot to change the mapping around here. So we move on to the central part of the Avdiivka Front. So in the center part is where the Ukrainians actually launched the counter-offensive in this area here. There's fighting reported at Solovyove, Novopokrovka, Bedaichi, as well as Semenivka. So this a very concentrated push against the Russian forces in this center part. The Russians are still attacking towards Sokil. And of course, this area here is the Umanske region. So let's see if the Ukrainians can actually do something with this. And further up north in the northern sector of this Avdiivka Front, Russian forces are attacking towards Kalinove. They're attacking at Arkhangelsk, Ocheretine, Novo-Alexandrivka, and Sokil. Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking at Ocheretine, and just now was mentioned Solovyove. So the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Karamik. This comes very late. The capture was first reported on the 30th of April. It's after 11 days that we see the Russian Defense Ministry acknowledge the capture of this settlement. However, this is where the breakout zone is, and this breakout has now grinded to a halt. The Ukrainian forces are able to hold a strong defense around this citadel region, and a very heavily defended region here. And of course, there is also very heavily defended region around Sokyu and Novo-Alexandrivka. So Russian forces are currently struggling to break out at this moment right now. However, doesn't matter because there is Kharkiv Front, right? So there is a geolocation of Russian forces just north of Ocheretine, confirming Russian presence around here. So we will continue to monitor to see how these develop over at the Avdiivka Front. But I know you guys are no longer interested with Avdiivka Front. You know, you guys got new love. Not loyal at all. So over at the New York Front, there is only fighting reported at Oleksandropil, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And there is geolocation of Ukrainian forces just off the forest, getting struck by Russian airstrike. So that's the current situation over at this front line. And at New York, there's nothing else around here. We move into the Bakhmut Front. So at the Bakhmut Front, this Bakhmut city in the southern flank. At the southern flank, we have fighting reported at Klishchiivka, Andriivka, and Kodyomivka. Very standard stuff. No frontline change. Nothing significant. Over at the central sector of the Bakhmut Front, Russian forces attacking at Ivanivske towards Chasivya. There is geolocation at Novy. Clearly, there is some kind of attack around there. Fighting reported at Kreminna and Bogdanivka as well as Kryhorivka. So this still looks like a lot of arrows, but no, doesn't. But in actuality, the assault doesn't seem to be very strong. So the two geolocations shows these two geolocations shows the Russian forces have expanded their control a little bit, which means they are taking actions, but the actions are very small. And there's a geolocation of a armored vehicle, a Max Pro getting hit by a Lancet just off Chasivya. So that's all from this region here. At Stupovsky, there is a tank getting destroyed by the Russian artillery just off Alexandro Shutine. There is another Lancet strike on Ukrainian artillery. So that makes multiple destruction of the front line. And we move into the Siversk Front. Over the Siversk Front, the offensive at the Siversk is also ongoing. So the Russians are really doing a lot of offensive everywhere. And Bilohorivka, Volkan Okanyamsky, Vimka, and Rozdolivka are all being reported to be attacked, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So we will definitely continue to monitor. There is no frontline change in this area here. There's a geolocation, however, over in the southern part of Bilohorivka, which is a TOS-1A strike, a thermobaric rocket strike on Ukrainian positions. And I believe I missed something important. I think is it this one? The Lancet hit S-300 just off Yablolivka, southwest of Konstantinivka. And there's one more. There's a very interesting strike. This is in the Dnipro region. Patriot systems got destroyed by Iskandar system. So it looks like a cluster shell, or no, some told me this is not called cluster, this is called strap. I forgot the term what they use. Whatever it is, there is a cluster strike of things. However, at the very end, you can see that there is no fire at the launcher. So some people say that could mean that this is just a decoy. However, based on Aiden on Twitter, he shared another video showing ambulance arriving at the location, also captured by Russian drones. So could suggest that there are manpower there in that region. Maybe the vehicles there are real, but the launcher might be a decoy. So hard to say what is exactly the situation. But even if it's decoy, if it's wood, the explosion is rather huge. So it's a bit weird that it did not burn. So yeah, not sure what exactly that it is. So after the Siversk Front, we go into the Kreminna Front. Over the Kreminna Front, can I zoom in? No. So the Russian forces attack at Dibrova, Torske, Yampolivka, Terny, and Makievka. So the Russians are also pushing over at the Kreminna Front. This is so many attacks for the Russians in so many fronts. And we move into the Svatove Front. At the Svatove Front, Russian forces are attacking at this area here of Stemekivka, Kolomichika, as well as Berestove. So the Russians are pushing also in this region in the Svatove Front. And we move into the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, the Russian forces are attacking Sinkivka. Ukrainian forces are reportedly attacking Vyshana. So that's about it. We do not have any more attacks in the Khyslivka, Ivanivka region, interestingly speaking. And that's all from the Kupyansk Front, and we have already covered the Kharkiv Front, so that's it. So this is the SITREP, or the summary, or the situation report for the day of 807 for the 10th of May. For the Ukraine war, the special military operation in Ukraine, very, very long non-stop talking by me. So it's a bit all over the place because things are getting very fractured, and I think we will need some time to digest all this information, and I know that you may find it difficult. So if you want to try to analyze it and see what's happening, this map you're seeing here is available for viewing. It's now open to public. Do check the description to find the link to this mapping. And thank you for watching, and if you appreciate my work, do consider supporting on Patreon, because I bought a new house. I want to do renovation. I think the world is going to end. I need to do my renovation, so I need more money. So help me to have a better studio, to do a new room. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.